Hi, I'm Sandy Stevens with 7K Roping, and if you're watching this video, it means that you've either purchased a Something Steel roping sled or you're looking at possibly purchasing one. I'm going to show you in this video how easy it is to put one of our sleds together. If you've purchased one and you receive your box, I would recommend that you lay out all the parts. They should all be wrapped from the factory. If they're not, if any of your parts are damaged, then please give us a shout. That means there may have been a problem in shipping or something. As far as assembly, it takes a few simple tools, a crescent wrench, a hammer, and a couple sockets, and you're good to go. Alright, so this first step, we're going to put the wheel on the front tow bar, and in order to do that, we'll need the axle bolt, the large nut, and the two spacers. As far as tools, you'll need a couple crescent wrenches, or in this case I have a socket that'll fit on the nut, and it's a 1 1/8 inch socket. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the mainframe with the center plate to the front tow bar. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there are a couple holes on the tow bar, and there are actually 3 holes on the mainframe. And the reason for that is that it gives you different settings for depending on whether you're towing it by the horns with your horse, or whether you're towing it with your 4-wheeler or UTV by the tow bar. So if you're pulling it with a 4-wheeler, then you'll want the shortest setting, and so you just go to the rear holes here, and note that everything is connected with these quick release pins so that you can make easy adjustments in the arena. Again, if you are wanting to tow it really fast by the horns with your head horse, then you'll want to move the front wheel forward. The next thing we're going to do now is attach the support legs to the mainframe center plate. We have the longer right support leg and the shorter left support leg. The right one, be sure to put it in front of the center plate towards the wheel, and put the left leg behind the center plate. Alright, you may have noticed as I was attaching the support legs to the center plate that I didn't tighten any of the nuts and bolts, and you should wait until the very end after all the bolts are inserted before you tighten any of them. In order to tighten the center bolt, you'll need a 3/4 inch socket if you're using a socket set, and the other bolts take a 9/16 socket. After I get these tightened up, we're going to attach the right and left skids. And you'll note the difference between the skids. The left skid has this lip, which prevents it from digging in when you're towing the sled to the left, particularly on your horse. And it also has this stabilizer fin here in the back, which gives the sled even further stability. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the rear backbone section into the mainframe, and you'll note the rear backbone section has 3 holes. The reason for that is it's designed to be used with the optional hitch attachment or the trifecta system, which is the ground stand, the fence attachment, and the hitch attachment. You'll also note that the mainframe has 3 holes, and that's just for your convenience. You can slide the backbone in all the way and just connect it to whichever hole you choose. You can see that once again we're using these cotter pins. You just quick release, pull it out, take your backbone section with you, take your hitch attachment or your trifecta system on the road with you, and you got your heeling on the go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the legs and the hinges together, and all you're going to need to do this is a hammer and a 9/16 inch socket. And the left leg, you'll note, is the leg with the white brand. The hinges are not too easy to tell the difference, but I'll just hold them up here real quick. This is the left hinge and this is the right hinge, and I've gone ahead and hammered the carriage bolts into the right leg here, not because they don't fit, but that's what you want to do in order to get them to have traction so you can tighten the nuts. We'll obviously use carriage bolts because they're smooth on the outside and won't damage your rope when you rope them. So when you insert the hinge, note that the solid piece of the hub goes in the hole at the top of the leg, and the loop for the bungee cord will be at the back of the leg, and that's how you can tell the difference between the left and the right hinge. Alright, now that we have the legs and the hinges put together, we're going to go ahead and put the hip assembly together. We're going to put the hips on the backbone, and you'll note that the backbone has 3 holes and the hips have 6 holes plus the slotted groove here, and all of those holes allow for the various settings of height and rotating the legs and hips to the inside or the outside, or using the groove to allow the hips to rotate freely in the corner. You'll note that when you do put the hips on, this plate that holds the hip bars together should be facing straight up. If it's facing out, that's incorrect. So that's how you know which is the left hip bar and the right hip bar. Then what you want to do is put the swivel collar on the hip bars, and it's not real easy to know which swivel collar. These are the swivel collars right here. It's not real easy to know which is the left and the right swivel collar. The way you figure that out is the swivel collars have a cutout here that serves as the stopper for the individual leg adjustments, and the stopper portion, the ledge portion here, should go on the outside of the hip bar, and when you slide it on, the holes will be towards the back or rear of the hip bar. If you don't see the holes in the back, then you have the swivel collars on the wrong side. So again, we have these simple pins that you can use to lock the swivel collars into place, and that sets the positioning of the legs. Once you have those attached, then all you do is slide the legs on, and then what you can do after that is put the end caps on, and these tighten up with just a simple 9/16 socket wrench. And if you want to adjust the legs, you don't even have to loosen the nuts or anything. You just pull the pin out and you make the adjustment and reinsert the pin, and you've got a different setting for your legs. Alright, we're getting close to wrapping it up here. The next thing I'm going to do is slide the dummy brackets over the support legs, and you'll note the dummy brackets have 2 different holes, and those holes allow you to raise or lower the dummy altogether, or tilt the dummy from one side to the other. The way you know which is the right dummy bracket, the right one has the quick release J-hook, which can be adjusted with these nuts right here. The left dummy bracket, I've already opened up the links over here, and I've attached the front cable strap. The front cable strap, you can tell, has the 4 links which allow for different tension adjustments when you attach it to the J-hook. The rear cable strap right here goes once again in the closeable link back here. Also, if you take the rear strap out of the closeable link, that actually lowers the dummy head by about 6 inches to practice roping a steer that really runs with his head down. So we're going to put this rear strap on real quick. And one other thing I didn't do when I attached the hips earlier is I didn't put the bungee strap on. So that's pretty simple. It goes in front of the link on the backbone, and then it just hooks to these loops right here, and each leg operates independently. Alright, last but not least, we're going to slide the Something dummy up into the brackets and into place. You can see how easy it is to do. Even a young kid can do that. Just make sure that the rear cable is on top of the flange base here. Then pull the front strap around and hook the links to the latch and get her locked in tight, nice and secure. That's not going anywhere. There are a couple decals. We'd appreciate it if you slap those on the sled somewhere, either on the brackets or on the support legs. Now you just got to figure out, which tow mechanism you want to use. You'll find your bad handle bungee in your packet along with your O-ring. I'm going to point out that the bungee is designed to be attached to the closed link and never used with the open face quick release hook. That is only for the brass ring, and the brass ring should not be used with the closed hook as it's not rated to be pulled back on. So we appreciate you watching this video. If you have any trouble or questions about putting your Something sled together, please give us a shout.